Hi, folks. Joseph Kursky here with you, geographer, educator, with one of my favorite all-time geospatial tools, and that is earth.nullschool.net. Let's take a look at this tool. It is absolutely fascinating. Kudos to Cameron Beccario for developing it. Cameron and the data that Cameron uses is absolutely fascinating. You can teach a lot of things with this. Earth science, geography, geographic information systems, oceanography, climatology, meteorology, biology. And the whole idea is looking at change over space and time of our dynamic planet. Much of the data is in real time. So the reason why I and many others are originally attracted to it is because you've got current information on weather, wind, waves in this very compelling, easily browsable view in a multitude of projections, as we'll talk about in a moment. But you've got the wildfires, particulate matter, lots of different layers and scales, nothing to sign in. All you need is a web browser and an internet connection. And I just think it's an absolutely fascinating tool to teach about change over space and time, which is the essence of what I'm all about and what many of you are all about, and that is geography. But again, can be used in lots of different disciplines as well besides geography at multiple scales. As you can see here, I'm looking at the different layers that are in here. Also, as I indicated, you can change the mode, looking at today, yesterday, times past. You can run animations in this tool. Lots of different themes in this tool. It's just fascinating to be able to do this. And you've got all this at your fingertips thanks to geographic information systems and sensors of various kinds, remote sensing platforms, satellites, GIS, georeference data that we can overlay these layers in a GIS at multiple different scales, at multiple different projections. And so again, very nice teaching tool. Let's take a look at some of the different modes here. I'm going to toggle the grid on and off. There's lots of metadata here, as I'll get into in a bit, telling you exactly where the data came from, how often it's updated, who created it, why it was created, and so on. Metadata is very important in our web mapping, geospatially enabled world, as I explain in other videos. But as you can see here, now I'm changing the projection to the various kinds of projections available here. Now there are thousands of projections that exist, but a nice helping of projections is available here. So you can even teach about map projections and how we render the world in different projections. Also, each one of these projections is described in the metadata. And you also have this sort of floating tooltips as you hover your mouse or your cursor over these different abbreviations. And again, there's metadata that explains it in more detail. But isn't this great? As you saw, as I was just zooming in and zooming out, the projections change on the fly, which is amazing when you think about the mathematics that goes into map projections. I mean, Snyder's map projections book is a tome from the USGS where I used to work. Snyder had published a tome it's literally this thick on map projections. So there's a lot of mathematics that goes into that, and being able to render this just like that is absolutely fascinating. Again, kudos to the author for developing this tool that allows you to do this at different scales. Oh, look at this. This is amazing. Truly is. So I can see the variation in scale. Scale matters. As I zoom out or zoom in to a smaller or larger scale, respectively, well, I get different patterns showing up. What is the pattern right now of the air masses? You saw me looking at the temperature a while back and the wind speed and the wind direction. Right now, we're experiencing a very severe cold over much of central North America, where I am right now. That is evident here. And what was it like 48 hours ago, last week, last month, last summer, etc. Being able to do that here, and the influence of air masses and the proximity to coasts and the proximity to the equator and the proximity of local relief and terrain, mountains, valleys, on weather is just absolutely wonderful to be able to do. You can see now the temperature gradient, very severe over the central U.S. right now. But also look at this, comparing northern India to southern China and Tibet. Wow, look at that temperature gradient. Why? Elevation, you've got the Himalayas there, lots of reasons. So you can explain and delve into the whys of where, which is the essence of geographical analysis. What's where, why is it there, and why should we care? What's where, why is it there, and why should we care? That's my mantra, and I'm sticking to it. All right, let's just explore a couple more things, but I encourage you to use this on your own. If you're an instructor, use it with your students. If you're just a person in the general public that is just curious about the planet, use it. Tell your friends, colleagues, your family members about this, and just start investigating our dynamic, wonderful Earth. There's a lot of forces on our Earth, natural forces, volcanism, oceans, ocean currents, etc. And there's 7.5 billion people also creating change on the Earth's surface, under the Earth's surface, over the Earth's surface, in the atmosphere, etc. So there's a lot of change going on because of people and also because of natural forces. This is some of the metadata page that I was explaining earlier about each one of the layers and where they came from and why they were created and at what scale. And again, kudos to Cameron Beccario for creating earth.nullschool.net. I encourage you to delve into these and other tools that allow us not just to observe the planet in all of its complexity and change, but remember, the goal of these tools is to understand our world and to help our world become more sustainable, more resilient, more safe, more healthy, more equitable. That's what the point of all these tools are. So I encourage you again to go into these tools and explore them on your own. Keep on asking questions. This is absolutely wonderful. Thanks for being with me, folks.